Hey there. Well, I got a special guest. He's my best friend, and he knows a lot about hermit crabs. Unlike me. All I know is, well, pretty much nothing. So, here's my friend, and he's going to tell you more about hermit crabs.
Well, first we're going to talk about handling the crab. You want to be very gentle to your hermit crab because they're very sensitive. Now, you want to, well, I'm not at my house right now, so I won't be able to show my crabs, but you pick them up from the back of their shell, let them crawl on your hand, keep your hand flat, and if you keep your hand flat, they will not pinch you. They will not pinch you unless you restrict them from moving. Don't put a sponge in their water bowl because they need to bathe and get their gills moist, and they don't drink as much water as they store it in their shells. So yeah, and now we're going to talk about how much sand you want to put in your crab habitat. Well, maybe about 2.5 inches. I have 2.5 inches in my tank.
And what kind of sand should we use?
Calcium sand, because a lot of hermit crabs suffer from calcium deficiencies, and that leads to exoskeleton infection, and
That would not be good.
and that will not be good because I had a hermit crab die from it.
So, should we use calcium sand as the main substrate?
No, you should have half and half, half sand, half soil, so they have a choice.
Okay. Let's see. What about the humidity? What would the best humidity be?
65, 75, 85%.
Okay, so high humidity. How about temperature? What would the best temperatures be?
Temperatures would be 72 to 85 degrees because don't get it above 85. If your crabs are overheated, they will suffer a painful death.
And
A painful slow death.
that would not be good either. So here's a question that a lot of people ask. Should you use dechlorinated water, distilled water, or tap water?
Dechlorinated tap water because you need to, don't give them distilled water because your crabs need those minerals.
And how about salt water? What would you do with the salt water?
Well, do the same thing, condition it, and then add a special saltwater conditioner, hermit crab salt. And hermit crabs do need salt water, so they can molt, and it helps them a lot, and it has extra minerals. And if you have an Ecuadorian, they do need salt water, but Caribbeans will survive without it. And again, dechlorinated water, no distilled water, because it doesn't have any minerals.
So, how do you tell if they're male or female?
You don't.
You don't?
It's impossible to tell. In the future, we're probably not going to know how to do that because it is impossible.
And why is it impossible?
Because there's no scientific evidence of how you necessarily tell. Nobody knows.
Let me think. Oh yeah, painted shells. Are painted shells good or bad, or doesn't matter?
Well, painted shells, there's a lot of things about it, spray painted shells are bad. Never use those.
Spray paint's not even good for us.
I know, it's not even good for us, so it's not good for the crab. Regular painted shells, if I were you, I'd ask the pet store, and they usually say they have safe paint. As long as it doesn't, if they have safe paint, don't make sure it doesn't have it inside. But I wouldn't give my crabs painted shells because they don't even like them.
Okay, how many should you put in what size tank?
To start out with 2 shells per crab, and examine your crabs and add or decrease the number of shells depending on who likes to switch shells and who doesn't.
And what size tank would you want to buy?
Minimum 10 gallon.
Okay. How many crabs per 10 gallons?
2, 3, or 4.
Okay. Oh yeah. Do you know if there's like a veterinary clinic to go to for hermit crabs? Or?
Well, Petco will take care of them. You don't usually have to pay very much because Petco only charges you because they can't do charges you with dogs or cats.
Do you have a certain website you go to find your information?
I kind of make up my own opinions, and I go online and see what's out there, and then I go to the pet store and figure out. But PetSmart or Petland will not give you advice.
So you have several different resources. So you make sure that it wouldn't be different from a book, the internet. So you read a whole bunch of it.
Most of it I got from my animal plant book.
Okay. Let's see, what else? Is size important? Like different sizes?
No, it's not important. You can have, if you have like a 30-gallon tank, you can have 10 teeny tiny hermit crabs, but it depends on the crab. You can have big and little ones together as long as you make sure the big ones are being nice.
Okay. What would the worst thing you could do to a hermit crab be?
Put them in painted, rip them out of their shell, put them in a painted shell, and the worst thing ever would probably be putting any soap or metal in their habitat.
That would be bad. So, do they need a heat lamp? If so, how many and what kind?
Yes and no. You need a heat lamp, but you don't need it on all day. You don't need a timer for hermit crabs because you just need to keep the heat lamp on for maybe 30 minutes a day.
Okay.
So they don't get overheated, but they need a little bit of that to harden their exoskeleton.
Well, that's it for now. Maybe later we'll make another video. Well, peace out.
Okay.